Well, good morning, YouTubers. If you're watching this as a rerun, you can skip ahead 16 minutes. And we'll start with the radio side of things then. Until then, just getting on here, doing a little stuff. Not really even a show. Getting all my spam text messages for the morning going on here. Mr. Bulgy, good morning. Morning, Waylon. Get my stuff in order here. All the good stuff here. Morning, Josh. Jesus. Yes, I had my wife got her elk Christmas morning, and then I found a group of 75 cow elk, and I started going down my list of cow elk hunters, and I got one guy yesterday in 30 minutes. What we thought was a good shot. Couldn't find it. I mean, I hiked so many canyons and not even a blood trail. So he's headed out right now. He went back out. He's going to go check this morning. As for the group of 22 nice bull elk that I seen one time, I can't find any of those guys. So getting down to the last point of I might have to take a cow elk myself. Morning, Karen. Morning. So that's where I'm sitting at this point on elk hunting. Got my wife done. Tried to get everybody else done. I'll wait, and I guess I'm just waiting. We'll figure out what I'm going to get. There's a lot of spikes out there. Good God, there's a lot of spikes. A lot of spikes, like so small that you got to be careful and make sure it's not a spike or a cow, depending on what you're going. Yeah, I between the three neighbors, I told them about that group of bulls, and none of us have seen them since that day. And yeah, then there was one dandy one there. We don't have big elk in this country, but that one was dandy. Although he might not be nothing but hamburger or elk burger, but I'll take my chances on that. But I got till January 5th, so another week. This group of cows is, man, are they in the deep stuff? Like, it's a lot of work for a cow elk, but it is worth it for the meat. Morning, Dan Brown. Good morning. But yeah. Other than that, that's about all I got going on there. Feeding cows and scouting for those bulls. And then the hard part is, these cow elk. There's so damn many of them. It's I mean, there's a bull with them, but he's not the. I mean, it's a bull. It's like at the last day type, I suppose. Morning, Mr. Gene Cox from Vermilion. Morning, Wayne from the Badlands, headed out to some bow hunting. Yeah, got a week left of that too. But yesterday, man, I got this guy, and we snuck in on these. We saw him from 2 miles away, and I put a plan together, and it just fell into place. They had no idea we were there. So I don't know what happened with the shot. I have no clue. I'll tell you this. If you're not shooting with a suppressor, just take the time and buy one. Just find the money and get one. Because these elk, we shot one, like my wife. We ranged it at 405 yards. She squeezed off, hit it, nice long shot. And like they didn't move. Like even the one that got shot was like, he went down and laid down, and the other ones just kept grazing. We had to wait for 45 minutes for those to just move on. They're all spikes. And she got the raghorn out of the deal. But anyway, They just basically had to wait for them to graze their way down into the pines until we could go up there and start. I didn't want to spook anything out just in case there was something else bigger in there, but the suppressor, man, even yesterday he made him use my rifle and shot that suppressor. I mean, they stood up and they're like, "What's going on?" And they literally went 50 yards and stood there and started grazing again. So that's why we backed out to give that one elk a little time. I think I thought it was a good idea, but it must have crawled. I mean, I don't know where it went or where it crawled down to, but he's out searching this morning. Should have taken my thermal and checked, but I think that might, I don't know if that's illegal or not. I have no idea. Morning, Mr. Warner. What I'd really like to get is a pair of thermal binoculars, but I think they're substantially expensive. Let's look it up and see. I've never even looked for a pair. $2,500, $8,000, $5,600, $3,500. I'm sure you get what you pay for on these things too. The Pulsar are $8,000. Yeah. Yokes. The 5 best thermal imaging. Let's see here. I've never heard of that. Okay, ATN. Well, this has got to be an ATN. That can't be. All 5 can't be ATNs. There's no way. That's off of reviews. Figures. Spendy. I'd rather buy a thermal scope and an updated thermal scope. Can't kill anything with binoculars. Morning, Mike Wagner. He'll be back next Saturday. Okay. Saying about suppressors, I didn't hear that. I'm telling you, man. Even old lever actions, get them threaded and put a suppressor on that damn thing. Morning, Eric. It is worth it. No ringing. Well, I have ringing in my ears, but not from any shots that have been taken. Morning, Dave, Minnesota. Got an inch of rain yesterday. A lake about an hour north of us had 3 vehicles went through the ice yesterday. I don't understand it. I think if one went through, why would you try it yourself? I know. I know. So, first time I ever drove a pickup on any frozen water is in Mobridge's ice fishing tournament. And Jeff Jensen invited me down, sit in his ice house and do some radio interviews and what have you. And I did not care for that. And then taking 4-wheelers and snowmobiles on it, and when it did a lot of spear fishing up on Crooked Lake, but the ice was like 12 inches thick back then. And I'm not a fan of driving a vehicle. I always came back from Bismarck the other day and I looked at what's that Crown Butte Lake or whatever. Whatever. Somebody with a vehicle in the middle of that damn thing, and it was like 45 degrees. Granted, those guys that do it probably know a lot more about the ice than I do, but let that, if you want to drag your stuff out there, I'll walk or take a 4-wheeler. Actually, I'd rather take somebody else's 4-wheeler, and we'll meet out there, but haven't gotten into that. Should ask Jesse what kind of insurance you have if you wreck your vehicle by hitting an animal, and they ask what animal, and you say a fish. wonder what kind of coverage is on that. Because negligence is no excuse, right? What is that noise? My son are hoping to get out ice fishing tomorrow. Yeah. Those that do it, hats off to you, man. And with the fish, I had one of those pullover clams or whatever they call it, shacks for spearing. It was good. It was fine. I had no problem with it. But I did go into somebody's ice lodge or ice castle. Oh my God, that's really nice. No doubt about that. All right, stations 7 o'clock up, straight up, 8 o'clock Central Time. Coming up here on Mark. Jeez. Still fighting the throat thing. Of course, I hiked. I sweated up pretty good all the way into sunset last night, so probably had a little bit to do with it. All right, John Arman, what's your phone number again? That's right. That's right.
Your call and the person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message.
Interesting. Wonder why that always happens when I call him. You ever wonder that? Do you have it like on silent or something?
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Good.
Where are you at? The ranch house or somewhere else?
I'm at the ranch. Yeah. I don't think I go anywhere except for maybe a bull sale here or there. Or not until February. I think I got to run down to San Antonio for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, how things been out there?
Good.
Warm?
Yeah, it's been a nice week here. This past week has been really good. Really good.
I was just saw on Facebook or something like that. Someone had a little one drop on the ground already. It was kind of an accident. Wondering why the cow was all by herself one day.
Neighbor's bull got in somewhere or what?
Yeah, apparently so.
Or their own bull that they didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if they got them armed or ultrasounded, they should have kind of caught that ahead of time.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah. You never know nowadays, though.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people that don't check their cattle, which I understand that too.
Yeah,
they're bred, right? Some of these guys go year round. They just leave the bulls in. They don't care.
Yeah. Like I said, you think that at one time, and they'd have been like deer, that they only go into cycle when they should go into cycle, as far as when the calves would hit the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how cattle are different that way, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, I don't know what it was like, 200 years ago, if it was the same way.
Right. Yeah, I don't know either. All I know is the other day we heard an elk bugle and everybody's like, that's impossible. They're not bugling. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's pretty obvious what it sounds like. And it's bad.
You still got your tag?
Yeah, I got Dixie, got hers Christmas morning.
Oh, good.
I got Tony Malik Terrace down yesterday. We went out and I got him on a cow elk because he's got a cow tag.
Yeah.
So We thought it was a really good hit. We really did. Went out and spent 2 hours yesterday into dark going after and checking and hiking. And so he took off here a little bit ago. He's going to go out and check some more and try to do his own thing. Yeah. So it's but it's where it walked to is the steepest country we have in this area, and it is steep. So we'll see. I was like, you should.
If you're gonna kill me, I'm gonna make it tough.
Exactly, and they're just tough animals anyway. And God darn it, they. Yeah, I mean, I always say just head shoot them, but not many people are. They don't think that's ethical.
We had a couple guys from out in Wahpeton there, super nice guys, older guys. I shouldn't say older because they're not much older than I am. Probably 65, 68, somewhere in there, but they're both part of the Zipper Club.
The what?
The Zipper Club. They've had heart attacks.
Oh, I see.
And we're trying to get them a cow at the ranch. We had the elk down there.
Hold on, John. We're 20 seconds from showtime, so we'll finish that on our next break here. So stand by here. Stations.
All right, bye.
15 seconds to showtime. 15 seconds on mark. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Good to have you along here on a beautiful Saturday morning all across the Dakota Territory. Heard on great radio stations like KCJB in Minot, North Dakota, KLTC Dickinson, K-Fire 550, the voice of the Northern Plains in Bismarck, Mandan, KOLY in Magic Mobridge, and in Pierre, KGFX. Good to have you along all across the area. John Arman is my guest here as we roll through. I hope you had a Merry Christmas, John.
I did, and you and your family, I hope, had a good one, too.
Hey, you got to make the best of every day, right? It should be
Absolutely.
a good day. And Happy New Year before I forget about that. So here's the thing, you kind of had a last weekend, you pushed it off to your daughter, Shelby, and the first thing I asked her was, hasn't that guy proposed yet? I mean, what's so let's get to the bottom of this here. And I was talking about this with a buddy of mine. I'm like, she's successful. She's got a good job. She likes hunting. What's his problem? Did you have did you have a talk with the guy? Did you go coyote hunting, but it wasn't really a coyote hunt and you got on him a little bit or what?
No. Yeah. We have visited about it. And, and again, I don't want to pressure the poor kid. I think that the difference is the age difference. She's a little older than he is. And he just turned 23, 24, somewhere in there. So he's a little younger. And I think he just wants to have things kind of set up before he proposes. It's one of those deals. They're working on some things right now. It's going to happen. I feel bad for the kid because someone must have listened to the radio and they put on Facebook, congratulations on your engagement. She's not engaged yet. And so this poor kid is probably going to run away, but he sure is a good kid, man. We had fun hunting together.
Well, I tell you, if he can't take the ridicule we give him, I don't know if he's the one, right?
No, yeah, that's right.
You got to be able to do that. No, Shelby did a nice job. It was fun getting some Hill City, South Dakota hunting ideas down in that way. And, mountain lion season opened up here. They have one cat down in South Dakota already. They took a 2-year-old female here on December 26th opening day. So it's on. I'm sure she's going to be on plenty of cat hunts because that's what they do down there. I mean, those guys, they love chasing cats, don't they?
They do. They're just hoping for some snow. And, I had, was it last week? I think I can't even remember. JW's been down the ranch hunting during the Christmas break, and he called me one night and he goes, "You're not going to believe what I saw." And I think the first thing that came out, someone said Bigfoot, someone said something else. And I said mountain lion. He goes, and he was super excited and almost a little bit shook. He said he saw a big cat. He was coming back across the hills in the Ranger, and he said it was the biggest thing he's ever seen, and it had the biggest green eyes. And he said that thing could jump like no other thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so he goes, and that might be a reason why he's been hunting up on the south end of the ranch, and we haven't been seeing a lot of deer. But I hope he's just moving through, is what he was.
Well, you live on the Heart River.
Yeah.
You got what habitat don't they have there? I mean, you got food, you got shelter, you got water. I mean, there's no reason. But you're in Zone 2 on the North Dakota side, and there's really no limit. So get after it, John.
Yeah, we're going to call Marty up, and if we see him again, or I get him on trail camera or anything, we're going to get Marty down there and get those dogs on him. You know, the toughest part about that is just being, you know, and I know the neighbors wouldn't care, but you got to get a hold of everybody because you're going to be running.
Yeah.
Because that cat ain't going to stay on our place. I can guarantee you that.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing up in this area. It's like you got agreement every year. I like talk to my neighbors. Okay, so here's the thing. If I see a cat, you're okay with me just running across, and they're like, yeah, go ahead. You know, so everybody's excited about that. I did cut a few tracks when we had some snow here a couple weeks ago. So I know there's at least one around hanging around, which is I don't know if it's a great thing or not, but they're out there. North Dakota hunting for cats. It looks like 3 males and 1 female have been taken here in Zone 1 on the Badlands side of the western part of the state to date. So they have a limit of 7, or when the first 3 females have been taken. So yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to. I don't necessarily have to shoot one, but I'd love to go hunt one and see them. I mean, I think it'd just be a cool experience.
Yeah, I think so. I want one, but I'd rather take it on your place than my place, just so I know that they're not here.
Right. I don't need them. It's kind of like the elk. Elk are really cool, but I don't want them on our place, and we got them on our place somewhat. And it's like, all I know about them is that they wreck everything they see. If they see a trail camera, it's wrecked. They see a rubbing post that I put up, they wreck it. They go through the fences and they lay in your food plots. And it's like, then when you want to kill them, you can't find them.
Yeah.
And so it's not an easy task.
For a big animal, they sure can hide. So why is it in your mind? I mean, think about this 20 years ago when you and I first met. None of us are really talking about elk. But I mean, that was something that it was an oddity to see. And now they're all over the place. People are seeing them pretty much everywhere. What happened? Why is that?
Well, it's probably because of CWD.
You're gonna start. All right.
I'm just kidding. I know you had Dusty on. I thought I was I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. I don't. It was like kind of in eastern Montana. I saw the same thing when we hunted out there in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, and in the winter of 2011 came and decimated the antelope and the mule deer out there. The elk moved in, and now that gentleman has, a steady herd of 250 on his place since then. It's made a world of difference for him because they can hunt them out there.
Yeah.
As an outfitter. And I think they're just a big animal, and I think once they get to be too many in one spot, they spread out. And that's what we've seen, because if you remember, we were doing a radio show together, and I was flipping out because I thought I saw a big whitetail, and it was a bull elk rubbing his velvet off his antlers. And I was trying to video him, but I can't video and talk on the phone at the same time.
Yeah.
And that was one of our first bulls that we had. And this year, I guarantee I had at least 9 different bulls on camera.
Yeah.
With some cows, and we actually had some gentlemen, because I had called the Game and Fish and said, hey, how do we get rid of these? I don't want them here. I said, can I get that predation tag? Well, you know how that goes. You got to have so many on your place. They got these studies, blah, 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 blah. And I said, and you got to let people hunt. I said, well, I have no problem letting people hunt. And they said, well, we'll put your name out there. I said, no, I don't want my name out there.
Right.
I said, just put it in your file. And if someone calls and needs help, we'll let them come. And we got a call from a couple of gentlemen from out in Wahpeton, and they had a cow tag. And so we had elk there. I mean, I'd just seen them in the field the night before I called them. And I bet they spent 9 days, 10 days at our place throughout the year. And we got on the cows one time, and it was a short-lived deal. And my brother even took them out to the Badlands at the end of the year where he knew there was a big herd with some bulls, and they saw 24 bulls and no cows.
Yeah.
So someone once told me, if you want an elk, don't put in for a cow. It's a pretty tough hunt.
Yeah, and it's tough to find one too. So are coming up against our first break, but you look at how many elk have been spread throughout the areas. It gets me to wondering, there's more and more tags going to be like, or is it just going to be once in a lifetime only? You're going to switch that, but we'll talk about that coming up here in the next break here, plus many other. We'll solve all issues and we'll stir the pot too. If you have questions, comments, you can always call in 888-9-DAKOTA. That's 888-932-5682. Or if you just want to live chat with us on the YouTube channel, we're doing that. Or if you want to send a text, 701-425-6651. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition will continue. We'll be back right after these messages.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing because we understand the business of creating relationships is more than an interest rate. Agriculture is a foundation to the community, and we are here to help your operation expand, grow, and continue to the next generation. Talk to our ag lending team today.
Community looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. The 31st annual Top Cut Bull Sale is Saturday, January 25th at the 21 Angus Ranch, New England, North Dakota, 1 p.m. sale time. Selling 170 Top Cut bulls featuring proven sires like Baldridge Flagstone, Ellingson Badlands, Musgrave Stunner, and Baldridge Pappy. Born and raised right at the ranch to give you well-mannered, extremely uniform, and deep-bodied genetics. No hoof trimming, no creep feed, and free wintering. For a catalog or to view sale videos, go to 21angus.com. Join the Wolf family for their 31st annual 21 Angus Ranch Top Cut Bull Sale, Saturday, January 25th at the ranch east of New England. Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kaylee at Soretti Charlet Ranch. Our 42nd annual bull sale is January 24th at the ranch west of Bowman. We are offering 55 performance-tested yearling Charlet bulls, and new this year, 8 virgin age-advantaged Charlet bulls. As always, free delivery up to 300 miles, and we'll feed them free till April 1st. You can follow us at Facebook and DB Auction. Soretti Charlet, January 24th. If you haven't tried a Soretti Charlet bull, ask the cattleman that has. He's the one with the big smile on sale day.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
This is Todd with Rounds Angus Union Center, and we invite you to join us at the ranch Saturday, January 25th at 1 o'clock. The bulls look really good and are ready to go to work. From the rough Badlands country and river breaks to rolling hills with big pastures, they are ready to travel. Come take a look at an honest set of bulls out of an honest set of hardworking cows. Give us a call at 605-347-0890. Hope to see you sale day, January 25th at 1 o'clock.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, bowmanlivestockmarketing.com. There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19 plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran owned and operated.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. Good to have you along here this morning, all across the Dakota Territory and around the world on the website, on the YouTube channel as well. Thanks for tuning in on another beautiful Saturday morning, spending a little time with me. As you know, John Arman's my guest here from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. And, you know, you think about it, most of the hunting, most everybody is done except for maybe some straggler bow hunters and me. And
me.
and you. But coyote season is around. I mean, there's so many coyote tournaments, and this weekend no different than anybody else's. But there's a lot of great ones. There's a big youth coyote tournament they do for free for kids down in Long Valley, South Dakota, and there's so many of these that are going around, and most of them are benefits for either fire departments, ambulance squads, or benefits for people health. And it's nice to see that you can mix that hunting in with a benefit. So that's the hunting that's still going on. Also, cat hunting now is in full force. So back to talking about elk spreading all across the Dakota Territory, South Dakota. I read an article. I believe Wayne Moose sent it to me as well. I heard it on Montana radio is where I heard it from, on one of their talk shows, about South Dakota doing a big kind of a, I don't know what you call it, kill off, slaughter for CWD in certain areas down there. They're taking out, or they would like to take out X number of elk. And I'm hoping they're using the meat and sending it out some way. But, we always ask each other, you and I can go back and forth on this. Is that the right way to do it? I mean, is making more deer tags available in units that have hardly any deer left in the unit, is that the right way to go about it with, chronic waste disease? How about EHD? I mean, how come nobody talks about EHD that kills thousands of deer?
Yeah, I don't understand, Scott, and that the killing off of deer. The one thing you would think we would learn from history, and Wisconsin tried to do that. They were one of the first ones to do it, and they shot, I want to say, thousands upon thousands of deer in a unit. And all they did is kill off all the deer. Now they have deer, just as many or more deer in that unit, and they have the same prevalence of or higher of CWD. And again, it's like we were just talking, prevalence of CWD or infection rate. It doesn't mean dead deer. They keep saying that it's chronic and they always die from it. But again, how many deer actually die from CWD that aren't getting shot? I struggle big time with this because I've seen what EHD does. I've seen hundreds upon hundreds of dead deer. If you search EHD on the internet or on Facebook and say, hey, show me pictures of anybody that's seen EHD, there'll be thousands of pictures. Iowa just got wiped out by it. But if you say, show me a picture of a deer that's died from CWD, it's crickets. There's no dead deer. There's no pictures. The pictures we're using in pamphlets and stuff like that are the same deer that have used, a lot of them are captive deer. Right. I just don't understand it. I don't want to belittle or badmouth a Game and Fish whatsoever, but it's like, I think we're following a narrative, and it's their own narrative that they all are following the same protocol, same book. And if you've read through that protocol, they're not following exactly what it says. There's a lot of there's a lot of ifs and buts in there that make it sound like it really isn't science, and it could be or might be a hypothesis. Again, I'm not a biologist, but I don't think you have to be a biologist to understand healthy deer and sick deer, especially when you live in a country like you do and I do, and we watch them year round. I just think that maybe we're spending a lot of money on something that could be put somewhere else. And it's like, again, I don't understand it. If I saw CWD deaths like I saw EHD deaths, even a quarter of them, I would be super alarmed. But
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any. I've never seen one
Right.
from anybody. And if anybody out there is listening and you actually have a CWD deer that died on your place that actually had an autopsy or arcropsy, whatever they call them, that said it was really CWD, not just a test, but actually had the autopsy, let us know.
Right. I'm getting so we sparked up plenty of conversation via text messages all of a sudden, saying you guys aren't going to make any friends this morning. But
well, and again, like I said, I'm not bad mouthing him. I just would like,
yeah,
I've talked to him about it, but there's certain things I just don't understand,
Yeah.
And I want to be able to understand it, and I want to have an open mind about it, but I'm just not seeing any dead deer.
Yeah. I mean, you hear so many different ways about it. I mean, they talk about the prion and, prove that this is going to happen or prove that this and a hypothesis. So, and Dusty's, by God, he is way ahead of all the education on that than anything that I can talk about here. So, besides the CWD, what else do you feel? Why are so many elk being seen all around the country? Same thing with moose. You start seeing more and more of them moving into the down by the Scranton area. I mean, that's never been heard of before. Now there's resident herds down there.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, we're lucky. We got the elk, we got the country. There's bear moving in. I think with anything, we have seasons on it, and there's crops, there's cover, and everything, and the predators may, I don't know how, I know that the coyotes hammer the deer, and I know bear kill the moose and the elk calves and things like that. But if they're in areas that don't have that high predation, they might be able to, reproduce and get ahead of that. And we're starting to see more and more of that. And again, I think elk and moose being so big that you can't have a big congregation of them, especially elk, because they're, a herd that pretty soon the bulls get kicked out or whatever, and they move on to a different place. And we're starting to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, when you start getting cow elk in your country, you're going to start seeing a lot of animals coming in there. For some reason, it seems like everything follows the cow elk. Predators, big, bulls or whatever. It seems like then they start, like you said, they start breaking out into satellite groups. So but then you see if there's people listening to the show like, why are you complaining about elk? I mean, right? Well,
right.
It's hard to get a tag. Like if it was in Montana, it'd be a little bit different. If we could try to get some financial compensation off of some of it too, but yeah. It's they are expensive animals sometimes when you have them, and when you can only have a tag every once in a while. As a landowner, it's still a lottery. So
right,
and you're not guaranteed because you have to prove that you have the elk habitat, and that's a process to get that accepted too.
No, I know, and then like I said, if I had 20,000 acre ranch and just one fence around it. It might be a little bit easier, but when you have a small place and you have a lot of fence, and you don't, your fields may be, 60 acres, it does not take a herd of 20 cows and bulls in your corn. It's like having, real cows in your, like agricultural cows in your corn. It doesn't take them long before they wipe it out and not just eating it, but just wrecking it.
So let's talk about that. We're up against a break here, but do elk come into food plots? I mean, you put a lot of food plots out. Do they come into them?
Oh, absolutely. We have video of 15 of them coming into our cornfield and into our bean fields. Okay. I've got oats fields. Looks like a roller went through them. because they're bedding down in there and eating it. Yeah, they love the food. There's no question about it. They're no different than deer when it comes to that.
So that they prefer. So my neighbors have a big field of sunflowers that they just left standing. I think that they're going to graze it with a winter graze with their cows. I have never seen an elk or a deer. We don't have hardly any deer anyway, but I haven't seen anything go into that sunflower field. Do you guys put sunflowers out too, or is that not a good food plot source?
Well, I know that sunflowers the deer like early on, and they hammer them. They'll chew them off as they're growing. And we had some standing, and they'll go in there because I think sunflowers are high in protein. But definitely corn and soybeans are something they prefer. But I know they do like sunflowers too.
Interesting. I just wonder why there's been no animals every morning and night. I sit and glass that thing, and I wonder why nothing's in there. Anyway, we'll come back. We'll talk more about food plots and other late season hunting as we continue here on Dakota Prairie Outdoors. If you have questions, comments, feel free. 701-425-6651 if you want to text, live chat, or 888-9-DAKOTA if you want to talk in person. Back after this.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been a leader in ag financing because we understand the business of creating relationships is more than an interest rate. Agriculture is a foundation to the community, and we are here to help your operation expand, grow, and continue to the next generation. Talk to our ag lending team today.
Community looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Equal housing lender.
There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. The 31st annual Top Cut Bull Sale is Saturday, January 25th at the 21 Angus Ranch, New England, North Dakota, 1 p.m. sale time. Selling 170 Top Cut bulls featuring proven sires like Baldridge Flagstone, Ellingson Badlands, Musgrave Stunner, and Baldridge Pappy. Born and raised right at the ranch to give you well-mannered, extremely uniform, and deep-bodied genetics. No hoof trimming, no creep feed, and free wintering. For a catalog or to view sale videos, go to 21angus.com. Join the Wolf family for their 31st annual 21 Angus Ranch Top Cut Bull Sale, Saturday, January 25th at the ranch east of New England. Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, BowmanLivestockMarketing.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kaylee at Soretti Charlet Ranch. Our 42nd annual bull sale is January 24th at the ranch west of Bowman. We are offering 55 performance-tested yearling Charlet bulls, and new this year, 8 virgin age-advantaged Charlet bulls. As always, free delivery up to 300 miles, and we'll feed them free till April 1st. You can follow us at Facebook and DB Auction. Soretti Charlet, January 24th. If you haven't tried a Soretti Charlet bull, ask the cattleman that has. He's the one with the big smile on sale day.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Mo-Rest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
This is Todd with Rounds Angus Union Center. We invite you to join us at the ranch Saturday, January 25th at 1 o'clock. The bulls look really good and are ready to go to work. From the rough Badlands country and river breaks to rolling hills with big pastures, they are ready to travel. Come take a look at an honest set of bulls out of an honest set of hardworking cows. Give us a call at 605-347-0890. Hope to see you sale day, January 25th at 1 o'clock.
Bowman Livestock Marketing, serving the tri-state area for all of your livestock marketing needs. Eastern Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota. You can be sure of great care for your cattle and top price at sale time. Call Austin Snook at 307-290-2161. That's 307-290-2161 for more information or just to talk cattle markets. You can also find them on Facebook and go to their website, BowmanLivestockMarketing.com. There's a reason you're seeing more Red Angus cattle in the country. Great mama cows, high weaning weights, and easy keepers. With a family that bases their entire operation on faith, honesty, and trust. You can see those values in their 30-plus years in the Red Angus breed. Schriefer Red Angus, the breed that generates a positive return on investment. SchrieferRedAngus.com. This portion of the program is brought to you by Freedom Repair. Whether it's a tractor, baler, your cutter, your combine, or air seeder, Freedom Repair comes to you and helps you get fixed up and back in the field. 19-plus years experience. Give Lucas Kelly a call at 701-440-1945. That's 701-440-1945. Freedom Repair, veteran-owned and operated.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. All across the Dakota Territory, good to be with you. Nearly 20 years running here, 2 decades strong, as they say. John Arman, good morning. Having a little Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV with me here this morning. Since we got everything covered and stirred the pot in the first half, let's talk a little bit late season hunting, archery hunting. People still looking to get their archery tag punched. And is it just that much more difficult? Is it easier when there's more snow on the ground? Is it the lack of deer in many of the units and around the areas? What's going on for some of these late hunters? Or did they just wait?
Well, I'm a late hunter because I messed up early on, and I've been hoping to get out late season, which I have, but it isn't even a late season. One of the things I've always said is that, to me, the best times to hunt are the first couple weeks and the last couple weeks. And when we have snow on the ground, a foot, and it's 0 degrees, the deer absolutely have to get on their feet and go to feed.
Yeah.
Well, when it's 35, 40 degrees, they don't have to do anything. And I was looking at my cameras last night, and it was beautiful. And I had one deer during daylight hours. It's just been impossible. Jason's been hunting hard. Good friend of ours, Johnny Arman. It's just been non-existent. So I think the movement, they just stay in the hills, they browse. And again, we need this, of course. I don't want to be too selfish about it, but if we have every week we get, above, the temps we're used to, and it's nice like this, it just makes it that much easier for these deer to make it. So if we got hit, unless we got hit with some outlandish, spring storm that buried these deer, I think these deer most of them are going to make it, because we're already into January and we've just had no stress on them whatsoever.
Right.
It doesn't make it any better for us bow hunters, but again, it will be better next year.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though, is it's nice to have an open winter, but moisture for next year also is going to determine on that deer herd during the summer and during, when they're having their babies too. And we need some type of moisture going into next spring.
We do. And like I said, North Dakota's, it's interesting because all we have to do is wait a week and things could change drastically.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we're behind on snowfall, like 10 inches or something like that. But, our springtime, we get that wet snow. You never know. I mean, we definitely need the moisture. We've been lucky down at the ranch that we caught some of it, but we're not, perfect by any means.
Right.
And I know you guys out there are really dry.
Yeah. Yeah. She's still dusty out this way. I still have a fire flapper on my pickup just in case.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. But the good part about it is we still have a week left of hunting here, right?
Yep.
We still got some going on. And I tell you what, so my wife got her tag, her elk tag, punched Christmas morning, and very, very, very proud of saying that it was a 405-yard shot. She
Awesome.
double lunged it, and it was the fun part about it for her was, so she doesn't do a lot of hunting. But this one, she's like, she sees the damage. She sees what I got to go through on a daily basis, right? So she's like, I'd love to shoot an elk. So I put her in. By golly, she got the tag. She punched it, and she used my 28 Nosler with the Burris scope on it. Made it pretty nice for her, right? You put the crosshairs on, hit the button, it ranges it. It gives you a dot. There was a 0 wind to have to worry about that morning. Put the dot right behind the shoulder. Boom, right? And but the problem with it was, John, is she said, I pulled the trigger, you do the work. Right. And I'll tell you what,
not a bad deal.
it's not a bad deal, but I have usually, I thought back, I'm like, in every elk that I've helped with, there was always other people, helping do a few things. This was the first time I did it, from gutting it, skinning it, quartering it, hanging it, the whole works. And by myself. And I tell you what, there's some muscles I haven't used for a couple months.
Yeah, it's not easy. They're big. They're a big animal.
They're a big animal, yeah. And this was a young bull, so it's going to be really, really good eating too. But with my skid steer, I had it lifted up as high as it goes, and the front legs were still dangling on the ground. So
it's amazing. I don't think people realize how big they really are. When I walked up on my first bull kill, I was in awe. I mean, they are, and then you're taking a young bull, now take a mature bull.
Yeah.
And it's just night and day difference. They are a big animal, and then a moose is on another level.
Yeah, I put in for that every year. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to draw that moose tag here.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping for it. That's my dream hunt right there.
So the mayor Mobridge says, Scott, that's why God invented meat processors. I agree, but you still got to get it back to the meat processor somehow, and you're not going to take it with guts still in it and everything. So,
well, that shows a guy he needs to give a butcher a little respect, because taking a buffalo or a 2,800-pound steer or whatever you got, I mean, and some of these small town guys, they're not real they're not automated. They're in there, they're loading them just like we are, and they get them back to the shop, and they're cutting them up, hanging them up on the meat rack, and they're doing a lot of that labor themselves, pretty much 99% of it themselves without a machine or anything like that. So the guys got to be a little bit thankful that those guys are so tough and do the work they do.
Oh, my God, yeah. But the thing is, they do it every day. Right?
Right.
Like you swing by the butcher block, those guys, I mean, they do it every day. Mechanics, same thing. They can work with their hands over their head and everything, and I'll sit there and change oil on a couple of things, and it's like, geez, my shoulders hurt, but it all depends on what you do on a daily basis. But yeah, the meat processors around the area, hats off to you guys for doing what you do, because, and there's a lot of them that do take in a wild game too, and they do a heck of a nice job with it. I've been running over to Baker, Montana with my stuff, and he does just a phenomenal job, and all these guys. And it's sad to see there's a couple locally here that closed up because, they just retired and nobody wanted to take it over.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So you got to get the John Armans out there to start opening that up too now. John Arman, Ultimate Outdoors Processors.
No, that's why I go to 3B Meats, buddy.
You take yours too.
Yeah, I'm like, they've been really good, and they make some good stuff. And like I said, I got some bear and some goose out in the freezer that I'm going to thaw out here and make some jerky, and maybe make a roast out of that bear. And like I said, that's the extent of my butchering.
Okay. What wild game makes the best jerky? And I'm not talking ground jerky. Let's save that for something else. All right. Well, we're talking strip jerky, and what animal and what cut makes the best jerky in your opinion?
Well, I've had goose jerky.
Rank your top three.
I would have to say, I've never made. I haven't cut any of my antelope up because I like the meat too much to make into jerky. I would say elk. I've used elk back straps off a big bull because to me the elk is not a real tender animal, not like a deer. So One, off a bull, you get huge back straps. So I made that into jerky, and that was wonderful. I've made deer into jerky, strip jerky, and again, amazing. And the goose jerky, I would say third, just because it's a little greasy. You got to kind of let it cook a little longer. Yeah, it has a lot of oil that comes out of it. To me, it's still good. And the kids at school absolutely love the goose jerky. I make it super hot for them, and they love it. So to me, any jerky is good. It all tastes the same. You put the smoke on it. You put your seasoning on it.
No. Come on.
Yeah, I've never. I can't tell the difference between my elk, my deer, and my. I can tell the goose just because of it has the oily texture.
So goose is going to be at my bottom of the list because it is good, but it's got an aftertaste that I can't get rid of.
Yeah,
and that might be the oil part of it. Number one on my list is a pronghorn antelope jerky. Out of that, hands down, the best jerky, strip jerky there is.
Yeah.
And it's all with the back loins, of course. Number two, whitetail. And number three would be elk. Those would be my top three. Mule deer would probably be 4 or 5 down there and somewhere, but yeah. Gene says, he texts me, he says the best jerky is free jerky.
Yeah. As expensive as it is. And it's funny is that, I go with guys and they always want me to try their jerky. And boy, there's some bad jerky out there.
There is some bad jerky.
There's some bad jerky. I don't know if they don't take care of their meat or what it is, but there's times that you're chewing on it and you're like, yeah, thanks. And you open the window up and spit it out there.
And
I'll save this for later, man.
That's tough to do with jerky because it's like everybody's proud of it, right? Yeah. No, the worst jerky I've ever had was anything like they put like teriyaki seasoning or anything sweet with it. I don't like that.
I like pepper.
Pepper, jalapeno, cayenne, all that good stuff.
Just smoked that. JW made a elk roast in the crock pot the other day, and it was to die for. He used some ranch seasoning and put a little bit of au jus sauce in there, and it was just like it fell apart. It was some of the best roast that I've had. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do my bear. Do my bear that way, just because. I love the flavor. You could pull it off and put it on like a kind of like a pulled pork type deal. It was so tender.
Yeah. Oh, if you can cook them the right way, it's phenomenal to do. And he says, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with John. It should be illegal to make antelope into jerky.
I love antelope meat, boy.
I do too.
No
I love
straps.
It. Yeah.
Yep. We were talking the other day. I was with Shelby's boyfriend Connor, and we were watching some of the footage from our antelope hunt this year. And he was just saying how he loves hunting antelope. I said, if I had to choose one animal to hunt the rest of my life and I could only hunt one, I love deer hunting. I love elk hunting, but antelope to me, they're so beautiful, and you get to see them all day and you get to hunt them all day. It's not just to wake up. You don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn if you don't want to, but you get to watch them all day long. And that's what's fun about them is that there's no downtime.
Well, and it depends on how you hunt them, though, John. If you spot and stalk them, it might be a little bit more challenging.
Oh, it is.
Right?
And, Connor does that.
Yeah.
And I've done it, and I've tried it, and I would do it again. But man,
that's a good question. Tough. What animal would you hunt if yours is pronghorn antelope? One animal I could hunt the rest of my life, and that would be it. That's a good question. I haven't even thought about that.
It's a tough one because the one that I like looking at more than anything is a white-tailed deer. Because every deer you shoot, that's a 125. You can shoot 20 of them, and they're all different, all unique.
Yeah.
And I still think they're one of the prettiest animals.
And they're good tasting.
Yeah. Last on my list would be an elk because to me they're just a big, goofy looking thing. I'd love to hunt them. I've hunted them, sitting in blinds. I would rather hunt them, of course, chasing them. And I've yet to kill one coming in screaming. So I'm hoping that's going to happen before I die. But boy, there's so many things, even hunting geese, all the stuff that we have to hunt in North Dakota is just absolutely amazing. I wish each one had a longer season or it just went slower. But maybe when I retire, it will just be a lot better because you get to hunt every day.
You think so? I hear a lot of people that retire and they say they're busier when they retire than when they were working.
Yeah. My brother says that, and I'm like, boy, you got to figure out something there, dude.
Well, it just means you have more time to get things done around the house.
Yeah, well, you know how that goes. That's if you go on a scale, or I mean, a rating scale from 1 to 5 on what you do first and what you do last, the house is fifth.
The house is probably 6 or 7 on the list. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yep.
so, you see a lot of these hunting blinds now that are pretty darn nice. These plastic ones. And you see that they're pretty expensive too, right?
Yep.
Are they worth it? Do you have you tried any of them? Have you used any of them? Are they worth spending the money to be able to be a little bit more comfortable in there? I mean, is hunting supposed to be comfortable?
Well, I think, it's one of those deals. So we started at the ranch. We built our blinds. We call them shacks, the shooting shacks on our vantage points. And I can tell you that out of the 20 years or more we've had them, 30 years, I think we've probably shot 1 or 2 animals out of them. We sit right next to them, just on the downwind side, so we're out of the wind. I like being outdoors. I like sitting on the rock pile. We also have a couple banks blinds, or that we got early in our career because we work with banks. And when it's 20 below and you can set that in a cornfield, it's pretty amazing because you just can't in our winters. If you want to be comfortable, draw your bow back and get a good shot without one of those blinds, it's pretty tough. And I kind of said that maybe as I get older, I might get a few more of them. I know my daughter loves them because she's pretty much a sissy when it comes to the cold. But like Jason will go down late season when it's cold, and you sit in those things, and you can be in a sweatshirt and not be all bulked up. So it's one of those deals. They're my last go-to just because I like the elements. I like. I think what's the guy the guy that spears everything and Relentless Pursuit.
Yeah.
He doesn't let his daughter sit in any blinds. He said that's not the way hunting is. You're going to be up in that tree stand when it's 30 below, and that's what she has to do.
Yeah.
Tim Wells.
So is it? I mean, depends on the person, right?
What is it? You want people to hunt, and I think that hunting has everything we've done has made hunting easier. There's nothing that we have done. If you think the clothing that we had as kids, the scopes, the rifles, the bows, everything we had, hunting was 10 times tougher when we were kids. But our life is so much easier when you look at everything we have from in our house to the world around us. We've made our lives easier. That's what humans do. So it's kind of hunting has followed the same suit.
I was having lunch yesterday, and on the TV screen at the local tavern, I don't know what the name of the show was, but they were hunting. It looked like African hunting. And, they had buggies, they had, side-by-sides, they had four-wheelers, they had the latest, greatest this, the latest, greatest that, and everything. And, you watch some of these shows, John, anymore, and it's like, does a person need to spend that much money to be able to hunt? I'm not saying just Africa, but, if you wanted to go out and get into archery, what's it going to cost a person?
Well, again, it doesn't cost a lot. I always tell people you could go in for, you could probably go, I'm going to say, under $1,000, you could get everything. I mean, you could get some clothing, you could get your bow. You don't have to, when you look at the top of the line bows, the ones we shoot, they're $2,200.
Yeah.
You can get a bow, a brand new bow for $500. And it's going to do the same thing. It's kind of like a rifle. I went in the Shields the other day. I think Rugers are $400, $500. That rifle probably shoots just as good as my $5,000 custom rifle. Yeah. We're just people like bigger and better things, and you want. I got a custom gun just so it's something I could hand me down to my kids, and that's the only reason because I shot my 700 BDL almost my whole career, my 243.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you think all this stuff, like you said, things have made it easier for us, but yet the animals have not had that opportunity, have they?
No, and they're still you think, and they're still tough to kill.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I think that we all have our own way we want to hunt. There's some guys, I've been antelope hunting. I had a buck go through the fence. He got his horns hooked. It was backing up, and all he had to do was go forward. I could have shot him, but I didn't shoot him. Would have someone else shot him? Maybe. There's just certain things that some people do, and other people, even though it's not illegal, some guys won't use, rangefinder. Some guys, everybody chooses their own way to hunt, and we just got to accept that as long as it's within the law, and be happy that they're out there hunting.
I agree with you. Yep. And one person just texted motorized fish houses on tracks. He says, I don't understand that. It's like millionaire toys, but I'll tell you what, they're out there doing it. If you're fishing, hunting, I don't care how you're doing it. Thank you for getting out there and doing that. So, John, thanks for coming on the program today, my friend. If people want more information about Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV, you can find you on Facebook, Instagram. What do you have, a TikTok video? I think you got a few of them. I know your son made a few of them for you. And, since now you're the new Rip of North Dakota.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you came up with that one, buddy.
Have a good day. Have a good weekend, everybody. Eat some meat, drink some milk, wear fur and wool, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right, stations, thank you so much. Appreciate it. YouTube, we're still on there, John. So Josh says, great show, guys. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you listening in here today. I had a guy while we were talking here, he was listening on YouTube in an airplane shooting coyotes in Wyoming. Sent me some snap videos. He's like, hey, I couldn't play him, of course, because we're on the radio, but still.
That's pretty cool.
It's fun to hear that. Yeah, it's fun to hear that every once in a while. Hey, Jesse's calling in. Jesse, you're on with John Arman. What's on your mind?
So we stayed in Bismarck last night after a retirement party for one of Sarah's working
co-workers.
There you go. It's a little early for me to get my words out. Sorry. I'm sitting in the lobby of the hotel, and they've got a couple TVs on in there, with no volume. Just one had weather on, and this other one just had this random station on. I watched it for a while, and I really wish I knew what the hell they were doing, because they were live trapping prairie dogs, weighing them, putting a little tiny ear tag clip on them. They were implanting them with a microchip with what looked like a miniature Ralgro gun, and then releasing them back out. What the hell is going on?
Hey, we need to find what town that was and where it was at, because how cool would it be to be sitting there while they're watching live their critter running around on the GPS and all that, and all of a sudden having it just go black.
I didn't know what the heck to think of.
You know what's going on there, Jesse? Yours, John's, and my tax dollars are paying for some stupid ass study.
Study, yep.
And that's exactly what it is. That we have no clue.
What was really strange is they showed them setting the traps and laying down some corn and oats and whatnot in front of these little tiny live traps, and there was a bunch of vegetation, which just seems really strange for prairie dogs. I don't know why. I really wish that
must have been
I was waiting for a commercial to come up or something to come up where I could see where this was at.
It must have been a new town, like a brand new town.
It must have been, and the prairie dogs look kind of small. So yeah, I just don't know.
Oh, Gene Cox he said what they're doing is CWD monitoring of prairie dogs.
It was what?
CWD monitoring of prairie dogs.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Tim Ney says here, Cowboy State Daily has a story of a ranch in Montana feeding processed seaweed, so they're reducing cow farts.
Oh, Jesus.
I had seaweed when I was in South Korea. It did not reduce farts, I'll tell you that.
No.
That is the dumbest thing in the world. What's the study on when we used to have millions and millions of buffalo?
Right.
What was the CO2 output then? It's like, that is the dumbest thing. That's like that pipeline. It is absolutely insane that we're spending money to pump freaking gas in the ground that we don't know what's going to happen, and it's something that we need. It's like CO2 is for everything.
Yeah, it's plant food, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, who came up with that stupid freaking idea? It's just absolutely insane.
Follow the money.
So, it's all money, John. Yep.
Yeah, it is
exactly right.
It is. I sure hope Trump just starts freaking firing and getting rid of everybody. And we need a cleaning big time.
You know, rumor has it the governor of Texas is buying all that border wall for 5 cents on the dollar, so we can donate it right back.
That should be. They should be put in jail for that.
Yeah.
For doing that shit.
Well, that's yeah. Brian Warner says, did the North Dakota episode of Ranch America air yet? Yes, it did. I think it aired the first part of November, and on TV. And then I am going to hold a watch party in Amadon, maybe as early as tonight, because I am bored. If I don't get that, I don't get an elk today. I'm going to Amadon tonight.
Did they come out and film you?
Yeah, they came out during branding this spring and filmed branding.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
But the problem with it is, somebody told me, they said there's they tried to pack too much in a 30-minute program. So there's it's so short. You know, they had myself. I think they had Benny Paulson. They had Dave Erlocker. They had a whole bunch of things going on. But I haven't had a chance. Wayne sent me the USB drive so we can plug it in and watch it, and I haven't had a chance to do that yet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I invite you out there, John, every year. Last Friday, screw bear hunting. You can go the next weekend.
Jeez, I know that might happen. We'll see.
God, man.
Well, then that means that I have to start roping a freaking dummy or something.
Oh, you think you get the rope the first time you come out? I see.
I do, because I'm going to rope you off your freaking horse. I'm going to double hawk your horse and sally down. No, I just have to be prepared just in case you do put me in there, so I don't look like a city slicker.
Cowboy John, you need to do a YouTube search. Cowboy jousting.
Yeah.
That's what you need to practice.
Yeah, we do. Those of us that still, I not me anymore. The people that still have good knees, that we have a little competition after branding. It's usually with the kids, and it's pretty fun.
What do you do? Because my knees are bad, guaranteed terrible.
Yeah, you're on foot. Each of you have a rope. You run toward each other, and you rope each other's legs and keep running. And sometimes when you get it, you get jerked on the ground pretty hard.
Yeah, I've seen kids doing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't breathe for about 4 months.
Land on your ribs. No, there's no alcohol involved, is there?
No, never.
Hell yeah, there is. I mean, not for the kids, but I mean, yeah.
Excuse me.
That's too funny. Oh gosh.
All right, well, but gentlemen, I'm gonna go and feed cows and see if Tony has found that cow elk, or if he's on.
Gary out there too?
No, just Tony. He came yesterday, and his anniversary's tomorrow, so he was really hoping yesterday. I mean, he showed up we left the yard at 2:19, drove up drove up on top of the hill, glassed over where I saw him in the morning, saw a whole bunch still laying over there, put a plan together with the wind and everything. Within 40 minutes, he had the shot, and it limped down, it limped away. I mean, it was a through shot. It was limping on the opposite leg. And I was like, well, let's just give it some time. And then like 70 other cows and spikes and everything came walking up out of there, and they just stood. So we backed out, came back home.
So is this Tony TikTokosaurus?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Tony TikTokosaurus.
real name is Malik Terrace, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we gave it some time, and then we went back out. I mean, I could have swore it should have been laying right on the trail. I mean, it was right there. And I don't know, these so tough animals, and there's rough country, man. I mean, I hiked and hiked and hiked and hiked, and I don't know the law if I could have taken my thermal scope and glassed in the bottoms, and because I mean there's such heavy brush in some of those, and there's like 10-foot cliffs, and if it fell in there and got inside the brush, I mean, it's so hard to find. But I couldn't find blood. I couldn't find nothing.
Yeah. What kind of thermal you guys got?
I got a cheap ATM Thor 4 or whatever it is. I say cheap, but it was like $5,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not that cheap.
I'm thinking about getting one too. I want to get the one that's a clip-on that goes onto my rail on my AR, just because I don't want to switch out I don't. Remley said, just buy another gun. I said, I don't need another gun just for freaking thermal hunting.
Here's what you need, John. I would stay away from, unless they've made really good improvements with those. Get a good scope and find a bolt gun.
Yep.
And just set up a rig and leave it on there.
Yeah, that's what I've heard that too. That's what I was thinking.
It's not about buying a new gun or anything. Just grab a 22 250 or whatever you wanted to put it on. Set up a rig, and that way it's all ready to go.
Yeah, but I just put a new scope on my AR, and I got to redo it because I screwed up. I forgot to set my zero, so I got to sight it in, but there's no zero stop. I'd have to turn it 2.5 more times to hit zero.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
no.
it was one of those deals.
I'm really looking at either a pulsar or a bearing for my next thermal. Is what I'm looking at right now, but
I looked through those AGMs at Shields. They're like $4,000 or whatever. I'd have to take it out to see. I mean, I want something that I can go set a carcass somewhere and sit there and wait for them to come in and freaking. Yeah. And then when they're howling in my backyard, I know they're within 100 yards.
Yeah.
And just stick that gun out the window. And
they're great. It's amazing what you can see through a thermal scope. It is absolutely amazing. And what, Jesse, we got ours, 8 years ago?
Oh, man.
8?
Yeah, 8 to 10.
I suppose the technology is going. Connor and I went out when we went coyote hunting, and I'm not good at it. I don't know anything. This is the first ones that we've actually, he shot one at 300 yards with he uses his 300 Win Mag, because then for coyote contests, they don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that the vapor trail on that thing, when it smacked it, the hole on the other side was freaking, you could have stuck both hands in there. And then we went out above the cliff out here, and some pheasants were getting up all over. And all of a sudden I said, look at that pheasant run. I said, that's freaking a coyote. And he's running down the deer trail. Connor woofed him, and he was at 3 something, and he shot, and it ducked into the brush. Another one got up and he shot, and he just missed it. And he goes, I think I hit that one, and I barely got it on film. And I was like, man, if it had hit it with that 300, and sure enough, he hit him in the guts, and it was the biggest blood trail I've ever seen for 10 yards.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm telling you what, these coyotes aren't worth nothing. Use the biggest rifle you can afford to shoot.
Well, and like I said, it was fun, and I put a little reel out, and I think it's up to about 6,000 views. People love seeing coyotes die.
Yep.
And
I use a big gun like that because even if you make a bad hit, at least they still die.
Yeah.
Or if you use a 223 or even a 22 250, something smaller caliber, lighter bullet, you make a bad hit on them, they run for miles and miles, and sometimes don't die.
Yeah, he said they shot one time through the guts, and they chased it a mile, and it was dragging its guts on the ground. And it was a contest, so they had to go get it. And that's when he said he switched to a big gun.
That's what we did too.
We had one Jesse and I got, and kind of gut shot. It had a lot of guts hanging out of it. And Jesse stepped on it and wanted to cut it. And I'm like, hey, this shit's on weight. Leave it in.
Yep. that one, what's a big cow? Because the one we shot down here, I would say was 40 pounds or bigger. And Connor said it was one of the big dogs. He said it was the biggest dog he's ever shot down here.
Yeah, if you get to 40 pounds, that's a big damn coyote.
He said this one would have won some contests for him, and it was a big male. It was big, beautiful.
Yeah, I think the biggest coyote we've weighed was like 35, 36 pounds. And, but yeah, I mean, 40 pounds is a big dog.
Yeah, because the one at the ranch would have been that normal size one where you just pick it up with one hand. With this one, he was holding up with 2 hands. It was big. It was big. It was, and I don't know coyotes, like I said, but I'm starting to think I like doing it.
The only coyote you got to worry about watching is the one that has an account with Acme, and seems like,
and there's a little bird running behind him.
I see that son of a bitch has some ideas that sure seem like they'd work. Yeah.
You know the thing about that? Maybe that's where I got all my great ideas as a kid, is from that freaking Wile E. Coyote. Because I swear I did everything he did, and I was a kid that did every contraption. Even now, I go and look at some of my tree stands and shit. I'm like, was I drinking when I did this, or what did I get this idea from?
Well, you guys have a happy New Year.
All right, you too, buddy. Thanks for having me on the show.
You bet.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Jess.
You too.
All right, YouTubers, have yourself a happy New Year. Hope everything goes well, and I hope I got more. Hopefully next weekend, I have better news about elk hunting for you. Yeah.